Oh, hey there, neighbor. I didn't see you sitting there. Welcome back to another episode on my channel. I know it's been a while, guys, but we're back here working on the boat. I've had a lot of questions about what's been going on with it, so we'll just kind of give you an update and an overview. I'm glad you guys stepped by. It's going to be a great day today. So, guys, I know it's been a while. First of all, thank you for tuning back in to JC Inshore. Get here in the shade. I know it's been a while. It's been a few months. You know, the holidays hit, plus a string of bad weather on the weekends when I'm working on, they're able to work on my project. But I've had enough inquiries about it that I got to start it back up. I got to get back in there, put in some work on this thing. We're so close. I feel like we're so close. I'm having dreams about it. So let's get back into it today. I honestly don't even remember what part this is. 7, 8, 9, I don't know. But we're going to dive back into it today. First of all, shout out to Wyatt. Appreciate you watching the channel, man. Enjoyed fishing with you. We'll have to do it again sometime. Hopefully next time it'll be on this boat. But what I've got today is I've already got the boat flipped over. I had flipped it over when I kind of took my hiatus because it was raining. I didn't want water collecting it, so I flipped it over. As I was flipping it over, I kept looking at these spots right here. I glassed these from the inside before I started really documenting the build. I feel like I did some pretty solid work. I pretty much put 3 layers of 1708 on the inside. Start with a small piece and then get bigger and get bigger. So they're all overlapping. Each piece has contact with the original fiberglass itself. So I'm not worried about that. The only thing I am worried about is, I don't know if you guys can tell, this piece that I did from the inside kind of bulges out past the bottom of the boat itself. So I'm concerned that when I go to sand this and shape it, it's just going to wear another hole in it, and I'll have to kind of start from scratch. This one up here is not so bad. It looks pretty bad, but it's not as bad. The repair that I did doesn't actually, come past the surface or the bottom of the hole itself. So I'm not worried about that. But there's a lot of glass in here that needs to come out. This is all cracked. I don't know if you guys can see all that. It's all cracked. And if you kind of take a step back and look at it, to me, it feels like there was almost another repair done to this previous. You can kind of see the outline of the patch that they put in, and it goes all the way up and then come down. You kind of see that pattern. Maybe it's just me, but looks like they patched it just to get back on the water. We're going to try and do it the right way. So let me get my sander plugged in, fired up, good to go. And we're just going to start slowly coming back on this material and sanding this bad material out. All this that's cracked back here, we'll sand all this out. I don't know if the grit I have is low enough that I need it to be, but we'll figure it out and make it work. First of all, I just want to say what I thought would happen is what's happening. I have completely sanded through this, which is no big deal. I'll put some patch it on the outside, and then I'll go back from the inside and repatch it from the inside. But this is exactly what I thought it would happen, and it's happening. Which, like I said, at the end of the day, it's no big deal. Something interesting though, we have resin, we have gel coat, and then we have fiberglass. So clearly, whenever they did this repair, which is obvious that there was a repair done to this hole now, they didn't even grind down all of the gel coat. They just fiberglass over the existing gel coat or paint, whatever it is. I don't know. So I just think that's kind of interesting. You can see there's gel coat, and then there's the resin, the fiberglass, and then the original fiberglass from when they manufactured the boat. So it looks like what I'll end up having to do is I had already planned on sanding this whole thing down and, you know, taking it down to fiberglass. But now I see it's definitely going to need to be done, especially up there. I'm sure it's the same up there, but I'm going to get back to sanding on this and see if we can't get it back to where we want it to be, at least in this immediate area, so I can do these repairs right here specifically and right there. And then at a later time, we'll come back and we'll sand the whole thing, get it back down, fair it, gel coat it, and get it back going. But right now, I just want to focus on these areas specifically. All right, guys, this is way worse than I thought it was, or at least I'm thinking it is. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Glass. Then we go up here, and this is like a super thick. You can see where there's was that gel coat or paint. It looks like they put fairing on top of it, and then maybe like in a thickened resin or something. I don't see any fibers in there like this right here. There's clearly fibers from the fiberglass in there. And honestly, a part of me is kind of glad I had to do this, because as I was grinding this and sanding this away, it almost looked like, even though it looked like it was fully saturated when I did the patch, some of these layers were not fully saturated. So I'm glad I had to redo that, or grind all that out and start over from scratch there, because I want to do it right. But this is just crazy how thick this is. This is way thicker than I thought it was going to be. There's probably a solid, I don't know, 1/4 inch of buildup here. It's just off of the glass. You can kind of see the same thing right here. And I started to wonder if maybe it was like this from the factory. Look, there's gel coat or paint, you have the fairing, and then you have this, like I said, to me, it almost seems like a thickened resin, because I don't see any like actual fibers in there. Like with this, you can see the fibers. There's fiberglass, obviously, but this, I don't see that. And it almost looks like it's brown and yellow, kind of like oxidized. And it kind of goes with the shape of the boat. Like I said, it's hard for me to, especially when I'm getting down to areas like this right here. And there's some areas where you can stick your finger. I don't know if you can hear that. My fingernail is actually getting up under this layer right here, whether it's gel coat or paint, or I don't know. Actually, it's between the paint and the fairing compound. So this is all delaminating. So then, you know, it's hard for me to believe that they would have did that from the factory. This is actually, I'm going to have to get a grinder. And because this particular area, I'm going to go up here and kind of sand on that a little bit. Hopefully it's not the same. It probably will be. But I don't know. We'll just keep grinding, sanding, find out. If that spot turns out to be like this spot, I'm going to put a pause on this particular issue and get a grinder, because this is tearing up my little sander, and the only other sandpaper I have is 220, and that just ain't cutting it for me. So I'm going to take a quick stab at this part right here, and then we'll see what happens. So if you see, I just peeled this off of here. And right under it was the original paint or the gel coat, whatever it is, I'm not sure. But this you can actually see was a fiberglass repair. It's not just resin and fairing like it was back here. But with that being said, I feel like I brought a knife to a gunfight. Anybody that knows anything about guns or knives know that that's not the same. I'm underprepared for what this has turned into. So we'll have to regroup and continue this. I'm going to get a grinder, and I'm just going to grind all of this out with the grinder, get it back down to the original glass. Here it doesn't look as thick. It was just a couple pieces of couple layers of fiberglass with some paint on top of it, whereas over here it's just layers of crap. And like I said, these as I was sanding these down were actually starting to delaminate and peel off. So everything under here was probably getting water in it at some point. This definitely, like I said, this to me, this looks like cardboard. It's just brown, dookie. You can see it's oxidized in the resin here. And you can actually see there's resin here, and then there's original fiberglass. So it might not be that bad. And starts back over here with the dookie. But we won't let it crush our spirits. We're going to keep pushing through. We're going to keep working at it. You know, I'm on my second wind, and my dog's tripping out right now. Second wind, we'll get back in it. We'll get back on a regular video schedule. Summertime's coming up, all that good stuff. So we've got some long hours to put in on it, but we're going to put in on it. Also, really excited. I've been sitting on quite the haul of things that I ordered for the boat. I've got rollers for the trailer. I've got carpet for the bunks. I got the stereo for the boat, nav lights, some other, what do they call them? Courtesy lights, cabin lights, if you will. So I do have a bunch of stuff that came in, really solidify this project. I've also been talking to an advisor of mine, and he made some suggestions that I think I'm going to roll with. You know, I was originally going to put a bench in the back. I'm not going to do the bench. I'm just going to put a cooler in the back. I'm going to have the grab bar as planned, but for the floor, I think I'm just going to get a solid piece of wood to put on the floor and put a wooden floor in it. The skin that I had was really thin and flimsy, and I just didn't really like the way it was going to probably work out. So I think it'd be easier and better to get some more wood and just do a wooden floor on it. Throw the deck in, throw the floor in. Like I said, I feel like we're really close, but we still got a little bit to do. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out. I'm going to throw the deuces at this time, go inside, spend some time with the fam, and I will catch you on the next video, which will be coming out very shortly. No more hiatuses. We got work to do. Peace.